The most anticipated movie of the year has arrived. Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig, follows a doll as she travels to the real world to save her own world, Barbie Land. Greta pays homage to numerous classic movies: The Philadelphia Story, Saturday Night Fever, The Godfather, Singin' in the Rain, Close Encounters, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, 2001: A Space Odyssey, All That Jazz, His Girl Friday, A Matter of Life and Death, Oklahoma, Splash, An American in Paris, The Truman Show, Rear Window, Modern Times, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. The list goes on and on. She's incredibly film literate, which is something I admire and wish every director was. She even showed many of those films at screenings every Sunday, so the cast could get an idea of where she was coming from and stay inspired while they were filming. There are also moments that directly paralleled scenes from classic movies like The Red Shoes. Any movie directed by a true film lover is going to have a ton of love injected into it, and that's exactly what it feels like when Greta directs. There's a sense of easy comfort that wraps you in its arms from the very first frame. One thing Greta does exceptionally well is making the audience, especially women, feel seen. While it may be a movie based in fantasy, she still finds a way to reflect an experience back at the audience. It helped me see the female perspective in a different light, allowing me to empathize with what they go through every day. This was a huge undertaking for Greta, and it feels like she's been preparing for a project like this her entire life. From the surprisingly deep concept to incorporating the smallest of details to capturing the electric energy of the cast, Greta Gerwig has shown that she's exactly the kind of filmmaker Hollywood needs. Seriously, bravo, bitch. Will Ferrell as Mattel CEO, outrageous as usual. Honestly, the movie didn't need his character for it to work, but he and the other executives gave some solid chuckles while serving Spy Kids realness. Rhea Perlman as Ruth, such a touching addition to this cast. Super nostalgic for me as I know her as the mom, Mrs. Wormwood from Matilda, but in this, she's motherly, soft, and patient. She brings a familiar warmth to the film that pulls us in even further in the final 30 minutes. America Ferrera as Gloria, I love me some ugly Betty bitch. I'm not obsessed with her performance here, but she does get a badass monologue that stops us in our tracks. America is full of natural charm and charisma that comes across effortlessly on screen. Michael Cera as Alan, his best performance since Scott Pilgrim, and one he'll be remembered for. The queer-coded Alan may fit into all of Ken's clothes, but doesn't seem to fit in with the Barbies or the Kens. He starts out awkward and ends confident. This role was perfectly cast, and I'm glad they kept him ambiguously gay and ball changed back on that cringy 90s decision to make him Midge's husband. Kingsley Ben-Adir as Ken. Ice cream so good. Kingsley is super likable as Ken, and even though most of his acting is seen through his physicality in this role, I liked his performance here way more than I did his role in Secret Invasion. He exudes a hopeful energy that's palpable and sets him apart from all the other Kens. Simu Liu as Ken. Ice cream so good. People online are really pissing me off hating on this man, and I'm not having any of it. He's adorable as this backflippin' villainous Ken who is not so secretly in love with Ryan Gosling's Ken. There's a romance in there that involves lots of beaching off in the Mojo Dojo Casa House. And all I gotta say to that is, where is my invite? Kate McKinnon as eccentric, queer Barbie, flawless, nuanced, natural, and very flexible. Just what the movie needed. Issa Rae as President Barbie, she gets a few solid comedic moments. I wish she would have gotten a couple more lines, but she's super likable, and Issa seemed like she was truly having fun. Ryan Gosling as Ken, this man has mastered the art of acting. No one can touch him in this role. He's on top of the world. This man has a range that is unparalleled. He's brilliant. He plays Ken with a super extra air and a complete unserious seriousness. There's an ease to his performance that coats every scene he's in. He's beach blonde, rock hard, and a triple threat that never fails to impress. He's just Ken, and at the same time, so much more than that. Margot Robbie as Barbie, I mean, who do you think of when you think Barbie? Without Margot, this movie wouldn't have worked the way it did. She's the heart of the movie. Margot plays this character with a delicate touch that I didn't expect. She's perfect Barbie one moment and breaking down the next as she ponders her perfect existence. It's crazy to think that Margot started her Hollywood career as a sex symbol in Wolf of Wall Street and has transformed into the ultimate character actor who fully absorbs whoever she plays, whether it be Tonya Harding, Harley Quinn, or Barbie. She's simply one of the best actresses of this generation. The screenplay, written by Greta Gerwig and her husband Noah Baumbach, is funny, metasophical, and deeply touching. I felt so many things as a man watching, so I can only imagine what women felt watching. And to take a figure like Barbie, who's been said to hold an unattainable image of beauty, and turn her into an endearing figure that's just like us, is an impressive feat. Nostalgia glistens through the script so effortlessly that I felt taken care of the entire movie. Sure, there's conflict, but most of it lies within. I thought the storyline about getting Barbie back in the box to ship her back, it was a bit pointless, but it did give us Gloria, who ended up playing an important part in the story. I would have liked to explore Gloria and her daughter's story just a bit more, but I think they gave us just enough to invest in. This movie explores themes of self-acceptance, identity, purpose, and individuality. I don't care how many conservative snowflakes claim that it's a feminist manifesto, it's about women, but it's also about men. And if you didn't get that after watching it, then you're missing the point. It's about fictional characters that don't really exist, but the idea behind them is what's so powerful. The same men whining that this movie is feminist propaganda are the same ones who get made fun of in the movie. So that makes me think that most of these people that are saying this shit didn't even watch the damn thing. The type of men with their fireproof opinions who are constantly in everyone else's business. I'm just glad some of them went to see it opening weekend because they contributed to the big box office numbers, and hopefully something meaningful from the film seeped into their tiny brains. Plus, PR is PR, babes. Thanks for the free advertising. Don't even get me started with Operation Summer of Barbie. She's everywhere. This film has depth, or it doesn't. As the watcher, you can choose how deep or shallow you want to go with it. Flip it on for a feel-good watch or sit down and analyze it frame by frame. That's what I love about it. The music, the production design, the props, the costume, the cast, my God, the cast. The painted backdrops, the miniatures, the odes to old Hollywood, the choreo, the rewatchability, the quirky, the weird, the bizarre. There is so much for you to sink your teeth into. It would have been so easy to write a script that only involves Barbie Land and some trivial problem. It had everything to be a cookie-cutter IP movie. But what we got was a brightly colored meta-commentary that's an instant classic. All the stars aligned just right. That is not to say that Mattel should attempt to predict the future and continue to make movies about their toys, since it's rumored they're working on movies based on Polly Pocket, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and Uno. No thanks. Like I said about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the success of one movie doesn't guarantee the success of another. If anything, Barbie shows that people are craving unique, original ideas. And if the industry has learned anything this year, it's that audiences are not interested in reboots, spin-offs, or sequels. Unless you're Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, that is. And hopefully those executives who are making hundreds of millions of dollars on the backs of actors, writers, and directors are listening and start paying the people what they deserve. Because otherwise, bitch, without them, you're not gonna get a movie like this. Because to me, the only ones replaceable in this situation are the ones at the top. They didn't come up with these ideas. They may greenlight and distribute, but there are other ways to get that done. So careful, boys, because you might just be playing with fire. Barbie is for those who don't quite fit in. I've always felt different, and I've come to love every bit of different that I am. It's a film that inspires me to create, which I think is the big pink indicator of a great piece of art. I was made exactly as I was meant to. What some may view as factory defects, others view as my greatest strengths. Which reminds me of the most poignant line in the film. We mothers stand still so our daughters can look back to see how far they've come. Barbie is a magical, fluorescent, timeless triumph of a film about a 60-year-old doll. What could have been a flop turned out to be a motherfucking bop. a cinematic masterpiece. Thank you, Greta. I give Barbie a rating of see it now.